Hey everybody, this is Bradley Benner with Semantic Mastery, and I've got Adam on with me for support as usual. And today we have our special guest, of Outsource Ranking and Index Bear, and I'm going to kind of get out of the way and let him. But first, I guess introduce yourself, Jacob.
Hey everybody, I'm Jacob Hagberg. I'm one of the speakers for some conferences that we put on, and I run a couple services, Outsource Ranking and IndexBear.com. So feel free to check those out. But yeah, let's get at it, Brad, and let's just take it to them.
Absolutely, you lead, and just I'll be back here to kind of support if you need it. But this is your show, buddy.
Cool. Watching the comment stream, so if you guys see any of that, I don't have that open. Hopefully everybody can hear and everything. But if you see questions and you just want to interject, go ahead and throw them in there, and we'll try to answer some of them. And we'll just kind of build up a big question list at the end, also to tackle.
Sounds good.
Very good.
All right. So do you want to switch over? I can take over the screen share if you want to do that.
Yeah, please do.
Let's see. Do you know where that is?
Yeah, on the left-hand sidebar, it's the green screen with the white arrow.
All right, there we go. And
just make sure you select either your entire or the specific window that you want.
All right, can everybody see like this little Yoast thing, or do we still have Brad up there?
I can see the Yoast thing.
Awesome.
Adam, are you checking the events page? There's a bit of a delay, so.
Yeah, I'll let you know if anything goes wrong, but we're good to go right now.
All right, if ever phrases or anything weird like that, just let me know, and we'll take care of it from there. I've got you up in there, and we need to make some changes, just so you know if I'm looking up there. All right, so a lot of people probably came on this because they want to know about what's not working, what are we looking at, what are we vetting, what are we checking for, what's exactly going on. And so the typical place that everybody's going to get it, get your lists are GoDaddy auctions, you got your Register Compass, your Fresh Drop, places like that. Everybody's probably familiar with those. If you're not, feel free, check them out. Essentially, one is they're pulling the feeds for different domain exploration services like Snap Names, GoDaddy, etc. And what you've got is you pretty much have everybody fighting over these domains. And a sample list might look something like this when you pull it down. And so it's going to be scraped and alphabetized, and you're just going to start evaluating these. And so what the typical one is doing is just kind of looking at everything on the surface. But what we're going to do today here is go a little bit deeper. And you guys, I'm sure some of you guys have seen this, and some of you guys have your own process for finding, expired domains.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to usually not use all the auctions. I like to scrape them using software. You guys have probably heard of that. That's a tool you can do. I believe that there's a free download of that, I think. We also have some custom written software that we use. But what essentially it's doing is it's going to go out and you're going to start with a big seed site, maybe like a Yelp. And this is really good if you're doing local SEO. Because what you're looking for is domains that are in your local area. And let's just say you are in Miami, Florida. There's probably be nothing better for local domains from Miami, Florida that were once expired businesses. Why not prop those up, set up a lander page, and just say, hey, this site has moved, and now go check this page out here. You can do any single category that you've got: restaurants, plumbers, electricians, doctors, lawyers. It doesn't matter. You're just trying to send all these people to your website and get that local traffic and the local links as well. So it's kind of that 1-2 punch that people aren't seeing. A lot of people are just setting up PBN domains simply for the link. But some of these expired domains are going to still have traffic coming to them, and you can leverage that. Also, if you've got, you're selling local clients, you can send them these leads too, and people will pay for them because they're looking for that service, and they remember that old domain name that, maybe they haven't been to in a year or 2 years, but the business has since gone under. And so that's just another way to leverage and generate leads. So I just kind of want to show you guys what's going on. So typically what's happening is somebody goes out and scrapes a list, and you got to availability check these. And there are a lot of different checkers. GoDaddy's got a bulk one that you can do. Can do about 500. Not always accurate. Namecheap's another one. You can do about 5,000 in that. So we already went ahead and checked a lot of these, but I'm just going to kind of do like a small sample so you guys see what's going on.
Okay.
Let's just say that they're all availability checked, and we thought that they were good to go. So 1 second, I'm just going to pull another URL here for Majestic. And if you guys haven't used Majestic, tool of choice. I do think that Ahrefs potentially finds more data. You know, that's great. I just think that Majestic is sometimes organized in a better way. So
Majestic has the trust flow metrics that Ahrefs do not.
correct, and that's why I just think it's a little bit more usable. It's kind of that hybrid between Moz. I think Moz has good metrics like domain authority, page authority. Again, you guys always need to remember that these metrics can be manipulated very easily with spam or just a couple of links. I like Ahrefs for the data. I think that there's some things that are good. I like Majestic because they put a reference and you can understand what it means. Moz, I like their metrics too, but sometimes they miss some of the data or they ignore some of the links. They just don't see them as high quality enough to count the pages. Sometimes the crawl is a little bit slower. So I'm just going to go ahead. There's a bulk organizer here, bulk checker. A lot of people don't know about this. You need a subscription to do this. Majestic does have like a free little version that you can do maybe 5 or 10 checks a day, but this is really the paid tool version, and we actually have the heavy hitting one where we've got the API.
Right.
So I'm going to go ahead. This thing's going to check and spit back some stuff for us, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at it. Just kind of get nitty gritty and actually get technical on this, not leave anything hiding. I know that this is going to be a slower process, and I wish I had like a cool step for you guys, that thing, but just stuff gets lost. And what's really important is just being able to see, you know, what is somebody that does this, what are they thinking?
No, this is good for people to see, you know, instead of just a wham bam, you know, hey, look, it magically worked.
Yeah. And so, like, you see this thing, it just puts out this ridiculous spreadsheet, and you're gonna see me like start to clean stuff. Like, I don't care about, you know, these columns here. You're gonna actually find out they don't care about most of these columns. I'm not really looking for edu links or specifically like government links. I'm more just looking at referring domain, like external backlinks like this and referring domains. Like external backlinks edu, great. I'm not really concerned about that so much. I am concerned about, again, referring domains overall. I'm just taking a look at that. It looks like I deleted one too many columns here. Done. There we go. So I'm just going to get rid of all of those. One of the metrics that you guys know is citation flow. This is of power or page rank, however you want to look at it. It's just kind of, you know, saying how much power is going to this page, versus, in a really dumb way of saying trust, is how much trust is flowing in and out of this page. You know, how close is it to authority sites? And then again, you always have this high-level topical trust flow here, and again, very, very easy to misinterpret, and you just really need to understand this. So I'm just going to back up for a second here, and let's just take a look at a domain that everybody probably knows about. You guys have probably all seen ESPN.com. It's a big sports network. I mean, I'm sure you've heard about it, Brad and Adam.
Oh yeah, we'd have to be living under a rock to not, you know.
All right. So you look at their topical trust flow, and you're like, heck yeah, it's sports, it's football. You know, this makes sense. And then you see like arts and television. But then you start getting down, it's like reference and education. Oh, computers and internet. Sometimes they don't always make sense. I'm going to start pulling out some random ones. NFL.com, sports, football. Makes sense. Oh, it's about cheerleading. Would you ever guess that? That's the number 3 topical trust flow. And then museums is the 4th. You know, just looking at how that's flowing. That's just always something that you got to, you know, take into consideration. Apple.com. So when you guys are like buying these and looking at, you know, what are things about, don't always assume that the topical trust flow is the perfect thing yet. I don't know if it's not quite there, but, you know, it's coming along. It's the most advanced thing that I've seen that you guys can really get. You know, Apple, it's about computers. I'll give it that. Software, operating systems, you know, but I don't see anything about phones. Maybe there's not even a, you know, topical trust flow for phones or mobile or anything like that exists yet. But, you know, you just have to kind of take this, and it's not the most important thing to me, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
I like relevance. Don't get me wrong. Relevance is awesome. But I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of streamline this process for you guys here. And the reason why this maybe becomes important is, let's look at this from lettingfocus.com. It's got business real estate as the main topical trust flow here. And great, it's got a few links, and what's kind of, what's driving the topical trust flow is the interesting thing. And so when we start to look at this, we start to look at backlinks, where are they getting links from, stuff like that. You can start to see that it's from business real estate. Now, the real question is this website actually about business and real estate, or is it in some other niche? And that's where you'd have to go back and check like your archive. So for example, if you have businesses that are maybe this is a plumbing company, maybe this is a charity, and but they just happen to get a link from a real estate journal, talking about something to understand how that flow is passing. But let's go back into this and kind of sort this out. So there's a really big just misunderstanding in the industry, and I haven't quite pegged why this is, but I want you guys to start to notice this. Over here, I've just got the root domain here. And what you're going to notice is almost every domain being sold is not being sold on the domain level, it's being sold on the page level of that domain. And what do I mean by that? Like the http://www dot or the non-www dot version. And that's what they're showing as the trust flow grade. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to eliminate this column, but I'm going to sort this by trust flow just so you see what we're dealing with. All right, so I'll just grab this one, lifehealthpatches.com. We can see trust flow 15 here. I'll just go ahead and throw that in root domain summary. Great, trust flow 15. But what's going to shock you is this is what everybody sells on, is the page. So this is a trust flow 24 domain on the page level. And so what's interesting is a lot of the domain brokers, what they're selling on is this page trust flow, and that's absolutely what we sell on, but then you sell on the domain authority and not the page authority. And so there seems to be this weird kind of disconnect in the industry and understanding that. And so why is this important to understand? You need to take into consideration both the domain trust flow, because guess what? You're not always going to be linking off the home page on your PBN permanently for a website. Yeah, that's by default where the most power and the most trust is on the home page. But when you've got 25 or 50 homepage backlinks coming to your money site, I know, Brad, you say never to link at your money site, for your local clients. I just want to drop that in there and make sure that everybody understands that. You definitely assume more when you do that. And some people, there are a lot of people that will do that, and it just all depends on your client risk. But
well, and we also, just to clarify for our viewers, that we also mentioned that we do occasionally link from PBNs to our money sites if they're highly themed PBN sites, but that's extremely clean link profiles on the PBNs themselves. So.
Okay. So just understanding this metric and this flow, and so like getting 20 your property, your money site doesn't make sense. Like people just don't do homepage backlinks. Slipping a few of them in there, that's fine. It's probably not going to trip a penalty or anything weird like that. But when you look at the majority of links that a typical site has, we've been doing this and looking at like natural link profiles, and most of the links are actually coming from inner pages. And so this is where we get into like the technical side of how do I drive, juice from the home page of my PBN to an inner page. You do that with an inner page link, and then you're going to link with that inner page out to your money site, or maybe out to your YouTube video or the Facebook profile, depending on what you're doing. And it's just understanding that for longevity, because what a website can handle significantly more inner page links, as we all know, compared to home page link tolerance.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of one of those pro tips in there that I don't know that everybody's understanding, just because of where the power is. So when you look at your domain authority and also the domain trust of the root level, just so people can see there's the URL and the root, when you're building on an inner page, you're not always concerned about the home page trust flow. Yeah, it's important because you're going to drop an internal link to your inner page, but on the root level, you need to have some of that power and the trust that's going to flow and work to every inner page too. So that's just something to keep take into consideration when you're grading your domains. So what do you typically see? So pretty much whatever you see for like the root level domain, so matches.com on the root, I see a 15 here. Generally, we're going to expect that SEO points to that in kind of these 10 to 20 trust flow level domains, and that's pretty normal.
Okay.
Let's continue on. So we've got this sorted by trust flow, and this isn't like the only thing that I care about. And this is kind of like part of our formula too. Everybody's got their, but I like to do this trust flow divided by citation flow reference here. And what am I trying to do? I'm just trying to get rid of all the domains. And yeah, I totally missed some that are perfectly good. There are plenty of domains that have a higher trust flow or higher citation flow ratio than to their citation flow. And what do I mean? Let's look at MajesticSEO.com. 37 trust flow, 75 citation flow. Nobody would, bat an eye at this domain. If this domain was open to be registered, everybody'd say, yeah, this is good. And you know what? My filter is going to miss a domain like happened.
Okay.
So I just want people to understand, but there's a reason why we're doing this, because on these smaller sites, accumulating trust and power. And the hardest thing for
So you want that ratio to be close to an even ratio, right? Like that's what the goal is, correct? Or
yeah, so like exactly. So I've got like a certain tolerance, and my tolerance, I'm just going to sort here, and anything here that is below usually 0.7 or 0.066, I'm just getting rid of, because to me it's not worth it. So when you look at it, suddenly we've now gone from 400, 500 domains that I pulled all the way down to 137.
Okay.
And like that just chops a ton of your list. Yeah, you've got some domains here with trust flow, and typically I'm not in like a root level trust flow below 6. It's maybe just not even worth registering. So again, it's like you keep chopping, and you're seeing that these lists get smaller and smaller just as you clean and purge. And like you're trying to get this done with the fewest links that you can do it in. And
yes.
It's about not tripping filters, because you know what, if you've got, just say you had the perfect link, niche relevant, most powerful link ever, and had a ton of trust. Let's say you sold footballs, and you got a link from NFL.com on the homepage that said anchor text footballs. Perfect example of a link. That's maybe the only link you're going to need to rank.
Yeah.
And even though it's 100% exact match anchor text, and you guys should vary your anchor text when you're linking for sure. You know what? That's probably going to rank you, and you're going to need fewer and fewer links.
Right.
So let's keep cleaning through this. Another thing that people, always seem to look at is external backlinks, and then referring domains. And I really want to start with referring domains. I'm going to start largest to smallest. All right. So you guys all know this. We want a domain with one referring domain.
Right.
That domain goes away. Like pretty much that thing lost all of its power and trust. So kind of where am I, trying to clean up through? 5, 6 referring domains. That's probably okay on when you're looking at these domains that have been dropped, deleted for, the links that they've got have been around for that many years. Some of them have been down for 5 years, but the links still exist. And chances are when you register those aren't going away. Within the domain auctions, where you need to have a much higher consideration for referring domains, because as webmasters run little site scans for broken link checks and stuff like that, or they see that your traffic is going to a bad page, they're going to take down that link.
Mm-hmm.
Another kind of side point that I want to point out is that I look at these domains for money site, and if it's not clean, it has a lot of problems ranking. Or if you're like repurposing, what happens is we used to scrape Wikipedia, and you'd think, oh, that's awesome, high quality links there. It's not passing a ton of power, but you're getting your trust and you're getting traffic from this Wikipedia link. And what we discovered is it messed up our bounce rate so much on our website that even though we'd come up in the rankings, down, and Google just dropped us out.
Because it wasn't related traffic.
Exactly, and so it just destroyed your on-site because you have so many people using as an example. There's another thing. This is kind of a top-line check too, and For us, like, I usually get rid of has too many referring domains. Yeah, you're going to miss out on some of the uber powerful ones, but when you really get into a lot of those, a lot of them have been spammed. And let's just take a look at like what we've got at the top of this list. Lifeinsuranceseniors.com, 347 referring domains. I can guarantee you that this is spam. Levitra, available misspelled. 100% this is spam. So like, boom, I would automatically get rid of anything 200 domains over. A lot of times it's stuff over 30 referring domains. There are very few domains that have a lot of referring domains over 30 or 50. And so why is that? And what we're trying to do is we're trying to create this grade for trust and power that makes sense. If I've got a domain and it's got 500 referring domains, 10,000 backlinks, and it's only got a trust flow and citation flow of 5, like, it's a low quality website by all standards. There's something going wrong with this. Like if this is a business website and had BBB, paid do follow link before, that would have jacked up the trust flow or the citation flow. Or even if they just had one good blog comment on some site or one, just reference of an article, like that's going to prop that up so much. So I mean, it just essentially signals that a website has been spammed.
Right.
Just so everybody's kind of getting that. So like, hey, this website, it's got 194 referring domains, but trustful of 6. There's something wrong compared to a domain that got it done in 9. And again, it's kind of what we're talking, few links as we can, because it signals that trust. Now, you don't want to have one referring domain, like we said, but domains in this area, they're perfectly fine to work with. Now, where do other people go wrong? I don't see this check going on a lot, so you guys use this to your own advantage. But we look at referring domains divided by external backlinks. And so what are we trying to do? We're trying to get rid of sites that have a big site-wide link or something that's propping them up that just is probably going to go away. It typically signals that they're part of a link network and they've got links that are propping up their metrics. Or 2, that if it's still a legit site, that webmaster, if it's a site, take that down and catch that.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking for is domains that are above this 0.03% threshold, or 3% of the links. So referring domains divided by external. So for example, this libyacouncil.org here probably has a site-wide link coming from somewhere. And I'm just going to eliminate it because it's below that threshold. I'm going to get rid of this one too. And that's going to chop. You're just trying to eliminate, you're trying to get rid of the crap before you start going and doing your manual checks, because that's what kills you.
Yeah.
We've got tools and stuff like this because we just automate. We've gone through and kind of really dissected what this process is all about. But I'm just going to kind of show you guys. Here's a domain that we've got up at the top, lewishambc.org. And let's just see, just so you guys can see what I'm seeing. First thing I want to do is I want to go to the map. What am I looking at? We got this link here, hotspot. I'm not seeing anything from Russia. I'm not seeing anything China, Japan. Why am I concerned about these 3 countries? This is where I see the most spam coming out.
Right.
So if I see, for example, in this other domain, maybe this one will have it. Chances are some of the ones that I eliminated might have it. Let me go ahead and find some here with a lot of. There we go. So this is like your perfect example. It's a hotel, probably of some sort. And this just, by the name, probably wouldn't touch it. But, like, why does this website have all these links from China, Russia? We know SAPE here. We've got Japan. And Japan is some of the sneakiest blog networks that I've seen. I don't know specifically, where they're gaming, but this is what you go, what you're going to get. All right? And this is also kind of what a Scrapebox comment spam profile might look like as well. And so this is something that a lot of people miss. Now let's go back and let's look at this historic index, and you can see this is kind of the culmination of all the links. And when you look at this, like, it's a pretty clear spam check. I'm going to see if maybe we can find a domain here really quick that looks good and fresh, but the historic is off. So here, this website right here, Les or Tits Sheffield or something, pretty highly spammed in the historic index. But if you're only looking at that and you're not looking at the fresh, you look at that and go, boy, that's a clean domain. Let's go.
Yeah.
This is what people are missing and not checking because either they don't know how to or you're lazy. So that's just kind of some of the stuff I wanted to point out. Let's also look at anchor text. So looking at this, you see like you've got your anchor text up here, main domain, www.whatever.com. Cool, that sounds good. Primary topical flow, we don't see like a dollar or whatever in there. We see some like brand name stuff, like here we go. Some other links, nothing that screams like spam, like something by Viagra, Propecia, Levitra, payday loans, make money online, etc. But let's just see what happens in this one. Pennsylvania Lottery. Sandra Bullock's husband seeks forgiveness. You guys kind of see like there's something weird going on. Samsung mobile phone.
Yeah.
What's going on is maybe this was a PBN. Somebody's tiering links to this and spamming that, powering. So that's kind of what I would see going on here.
Yeah.
And so although something looks good on the surface with anchor text in the fresh, we just can see that it gets destroyed in the historic. Here's Levithroid. You can see it looks bad in the historic here. It probably looks bad in the fresh. Yeah. It looks much cleaner in the fresh here, but if you just knew that this was a drug, would know that it was bad.
Yeah.
Again, this is stuff people are missing every single day. Another thing you want to consider is the summary page here. And let's look at this. So you've got backlink breakdown, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. And as we kind of know, the natural link profile of a website typically is going to have primarily do follow links. And if there's some sort of threshold that doesn't make sense, it's probably spam. So for example, when you run a scrape box blast, oftentimes all those are no-follow blog comments. And all of a sudden your no-follow ratio gets out of control. It's going to screw stuff up. Or, why is every link coming through a frame? Or why is every link coming from an image? Sometimes it makes sense from an image. That totally happens. And when you're looking through like the anchor text and you see like missing anchor text or anchor text not found, it's usually like an image that they're referring to in Majestic.
Right.
So these are just some of the things to check out. Yeah, I think a lot of people have seen this, or can check through the backlink profile. Is it coming from a blog comment? Is it coming from whatever, a directory? I'm actually less and less concerned with that. I'm more concerned about what it's passing more than anything. And just so you guys know, with Majestic, if it's a no-follow link, even though it has these metrics here on this page, it does not pass that through influence the domain or the page, trust flow or domain, citation flow. So the no-follow links don't matter. So for example, this no-follow one, it's got a trust flow of 4 and citation flow of 13. This is not impacting the grade of the site. And there's something that you really need to consider that's very different is, essentially with Google, the no-follow tag means don't pass the power. It's also come to mean don't pass the trust in many people's eyes.
Yeah, and it also doesn't pass anchor text. It won't throw off your anchor text balance if you're passing, like if you've got a bunch of anchor text domains or links pointing to a no-follow link and a tiered linking structure, it's not going to throw off your anchor text ratio as if a do-follow link would. You could tip that balance on your own site very easily if you were like tiering with exact match anchors. A do-follow link back to your money site. So you got to be careful with that too.
Yep. But I guess what we're seeing is that the no-follow links, although they're not passing power, they're passing trust to some extent, or
yes.
They're giving trust signals, and then they're also passing some sort of relevance to. So my two big examples of this is a Wikipedia link and then a Better Business Bureau link. And when we've added those to client sites, we see that it kind of potential and possibilities. It's like you have these two links. Well, of course you must be good. It's like those same signals that you teach, YouTube, your Twitter, your LinkedIn. Those profiles, again, pass that trust to your website, because that's what a typical business owner is going to do. You look at the exact opposite as an affiliate. They skip all that stuff, and they just go straight for powerful links.
Right.
And that's kind of the difference between what the old PageRank algorithm was about maybe a year or 2 years ago, where it's just all about how much power can I get, how much power can I get, how much power can I get. And now it's really about, I need to have this combination of trust and power and relevance, kind of think of it as like a triangle, in order to get the rankings that I need. And so what's great about your IFTTT system is that a lot of those properties have that trust already from Google, like a Weebly or your Tumblr that you're using to also have.
And Jacob, that's part of the reason why we interlink the properties that we do with a strong persona, and we try to theme all of our networks. Because that really increases the trust from all the links that we write it. And also, I found that links that have, when you can get a link from a property that has to have some sort of identity verification in order to get dated, that's a much more powerful link than like what I call an orphaned link. An orphaned link is something that's just sitting out there in no man's land, a link somewhere that really doesn't have an identity behind it. Does that make sense?
No, exactly. That makes a ton of sense. And so I guess what I'm kind of getting back to this list, you've seen me grade these through. We've got a checker that we'd put in here, but I'm almost certain I'd put all of these into my checker and they would fail and come back like, you don't want this. Like Life Cleanse Review, just by domain name, I know that's bad. We just have an automated system for doing this. We know that all of these up here are probably bad based on what we checked, and it's like your list gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's just because there aren't that many good domains that haven't been abused. Like somebody's already beaten you.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people understand archive.org and Wayback Machine, and that's been beaten to death, on how to check that. But let's just take a look at archive.org here. I'm just going to throw in a domain. I've not looked at any of this stuff here. We don't have a history here for a while. One thing we do want to check is the whois records and see, was this site ever up? Were there name servers during this time? And if there were and it was that, chances are somebody is blocking stuff, blocking archive, and you don't want this domain. And that's where a lot of people, again, go wrong. Just by popping this up on the title tag here, you guys can kind of see that this probably screams like blog network, or there's something not quite right. Anytime you see something about, those really spam niches, life insurance, auto insurance, car insurance, whatever, chances are it's a bad domain.
Right.
And again, like we're looking for specific anchors too that we know trip stuff, like those adult language links. It just trips our filter, and we just pass on them because we don't want to assume that risk.
Right.
And as you go back here, maybe this thing is something completely different too. No, it's kind of similar. I'm not saying that we're ever perfect in any of these checks, because you know what all of us do? We go and we look at the home page and we say, hey, that's good. But nobody goes to the FAQ page and the article page and the contact us page and checks every single one of these things. It's cost efficient, it's not time efficient. It's just because we know that people have been putting homepage backlinks off, and that was what was sold as the trend and thing to do.
Right.
So that's just something like, hey, it's important, but it's, if you're going to take some risk and assume, risk in what you're doing, this is just check the home on. If you've got a ton of time to burn, which none of us do in internet marketing, just check the homepage.
Yeah, right.
So
very cool, man. There's a lot of tips you just gave out for identifying spam domains. I appreciate
no kidding.
that.
It helps to clear out your list quick, especially if you're trying to do that manually, because, man, that can really start sucking up your time.
Yeah, and, it's like, to give you an idea, like, we'd have full-time people, several full-time people doing this to do what we do, just because there's so many domains that aren't good, or there's so many little tricky things going on. Another good website that you can use is screenshots.com. It's a very similar snapshot website to archive.org. That's something else people are using as well, just to kind of like verify, if you're just unsure and you need that second opinion there to check things out. But that's kind of, how my basics of what PBN checking is. And I know that maybe is kind of advanced for some of you guys. Maybe looking like a newbie on the surface, but this is kind of like the basic stuff that you need to go through if you're going to set up a PBN, for anything that you're doing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Can we go just real quick? One of the questions we had was asking about how you get these domains. I think somebody might have popped in after we started. If you don't mind, just kind of just briefly touching on how you get bulk domains.
Yeah, so we're scraping. We're looking for broken links on authoritative websites, and we're just seeing if that domain is available. So there are a lot of tools to do it. Xeno, Link Sleuth is kind of like the most popular one that's currently out there. People are using to do this. The alternative is going to auctions and stuff like that. That's your Snap names, your GoDaddy auctions, etc. They've got these lists that you can check in freshcrop.net, I believe.
Cool. And then I'm not sure if this was something we were going to talk about, but it is an interesting question. Gary was asking about after setting these up, and I guess this is more a personal question as far as use, but would you recreate the exact URL structure if you believe that the inner pages had high trust level? If you had some really powerful inner pages.
Yes and no. Sometimes you're setting up on Word from those pages, all broken pages, redirect to the home, redirect to the home. You can kind of do whatever you want to do with it. The important thing that we're seeing is, like, we've also have an archive Wayback Machine scraper. So I can come in and off you go. You guys have probably seen that before. It recreates it via like HTML and PHP files.
Yeah.
The important thing with that is you really need to be concerned about like your overall site structure. Like Google doesn't like it if all of a sudden 50, half the links are broken on the web. Repairing that or taking them down sometimes messes up how the website looks, the navigation, etc., and they get on that. The other thing to consider is, let's say you bought the .net and there's a .com out there, and you re-upload the content from the .net, but it's already on the .com. And so pretty much you're going to get that instant webmaster tools warning of your website is pure spam because it's 100% scrape of the current .com out there, or looks like it. So you need to be cautious of the 301 redirects, as well.
Okay.
That can be in play.
Very good.
Cool.
Yeah, that was very helpful. Thank you.
Man, looking good. We don't have any more live questions. I'm just going to put it out there now for everyone who's watching. If you do have some questions, now's the time to pop them in so we can kind of take a look at them and get things asked here.
And I'm sure Jacob's going to tell us about Index Bear now.
Yeah, so
I want to know.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my self-promotion for myself. I'm not a big pimper. I'm not a big sales guy type thing. We just wanted to cut it down, just plain and simple, easy. We just sell these for $30 a pop, and pretty much we just kind of address some of the things that we were talking about. Like, most people are buying spammy domains, even though they said that they've been checked. Most people aren't doing all this grading and just looking through, like, is it from China, is it from Japan, Russia? Just a lot of the things that we looked are trying to have that figured out. But as I showed you, hey, is it being checked in the historic and in the fresh? Just stuff like that. And as I mentioned before, most of it's from PBNs that have been dead, or jacked up metrics from Scrapebox. And although you can often get those indexed, probably don't have a website called Viagra.com, or Buy Viagra, whatever, linking to your website about plumbers. Just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So just looking and trying to avoid abused domains, especially like if you're trying to rank, like, I highly advise having a separate site that you try to rank compared to like your main agency site. You're going to rank for like an SD's web design, SEO, company websites have just all been spammed to death. Yeah. So what you figure out is that the nav that you see from people or that are being, it's being advertised. Let me back up and just say this, that it's really understanding what a natural link profile is. Most websites that you're going to see, 99% of them are never going to have a trust flow above 5. It's just not going to happen, ever. And so understanding that you are, again, pulling from the top 1% of all the domains available. Just real businesses just don't get that much trust and power built on them. So again,
back up a little bit there, Jacob, to show that Majestic Trust Flow 20 plus and plus, guys. You see that? These are the kind of domains that are available through Index Bear. And I mean, you guys just saw the amount of work that he did to vet or to eliminate the spammy domains, and the amount of work that it would take you to do that. it's totally worth spending the $30 to get clean domains that have some juice and high trust flow.
And this is something that fits in, obviously with what Bradley and the rest of us agree with, but is, what's worth more money, your time, the hours spent doing that, or going out and getting a domain? And we've talked about this. We go out and buy domains like this.
That's right.
Well, thank you for that little pitch there. And again, we're always really appreciative of any business that we get, or if you see somebody that needs domains, send them our way. We really do appreciate everybody's business. We know how hard and how tough this is. And you just need to be doing everything right and leveraging your time, because it truly is a time battle for all of us. There's not enough time in the day for any of us to do any of it.
Right.
And this is just being clear and 100% transparent, where you are talking about the homepage trust flow here. And that's just how the industry has taken it and ran with it.
Right.
Cool. Well, Scott's got a question about that, I think. I may be reading this wrong, Scott. If you're listening, feel free to correct me on the event page there. But for Index Bear, is there a way to see any sort of, before you buy, can you request kind of the topical, I don't know how you would sort it, but do you have categories or anything so it can be themed, so you know what you're buying?
I'll tell you this, we don't specifically deliver on new relevance. We try to do general domains because it's one of the only ways we can deliver actually with this cost structure. When you start getting really relevant, I'll tell you this, we tried to find 50 home improvement domains for a construction type domain, and it took us a couple months to actually do that, because although there are lots of domains from construction companies that have failed, or plumbers, or that home improvement niche, a lot of them just don't have that trust flow that people are looking for.
Yeah.
And so it's trying to see what people are willing to accept versus what's actually out there.
Yeah.
Just another important thing to consider too is you guys are response based. So again, we spread our domains out across different registrars. GoDaddy's kind of like the default for everybody. Definitely get privacy on this. The beauty of registering that's different than getting them at auction is that when you register them, you get privacy on them instantaneously. When you get the plus the $10 domain cost, and then you gotta wait till that thing clears your account and some X race to your computer and put privacy on it. And so your who's is actually exposed for any amount of time in between. And so that's kind of why I don't always like the auctions.
Yeah. Yeah, auctions are a pain in the butt.
Yep. I mean, you got the people, with bots hitting up the price. It's just a pain dealing with it. You got other companies. You got Snap Names, which is a great company, and over there it's going to start at $69 for like an expired domain like this too.
Yeah.
And they're just doing a process called drop catching. So that's like when a domain becomes available for renewal, you can and say that you're willing to pay for it. If they are able to catch it and register it, then that domain gets transferred over to you, and you essentially pay that $69 fee to them.
Yeah. Yeah, and guys, I mean, again, the typical PBN training that everybody, I'm sure, is familiar with is to just go out and locate domains with good metrics, and I think they missed the boat on the real metrics that you should be looking at. And honest to God, I've seen a lot of PBN training because it really doesn't do justice to what the type of, it teaches you to look at the wrong metrics. And Jacob, with just a brief conversation that I had in this webinar, I recognized right off the bat that this guy knows his stuff. And so that's why I'm saying, like, the fact that he's selling these domains for $30 and done all the research, clean domains that have high trust flow, I mean, you're way better off going with these than you are trying to go after stuff with, what do we typically domains, and that's what we always wanted, right? We wanted the highest domain count and that sort of thing, but that's not necessarily the truth. Not now, not in today's environment too, but not now. So, very cool.
Exactly. Let's just
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jacob.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just going to talk about too, like, how can you guys actually use these? I totally get it. Like, some people just want to set up, post this, maintain it themselves. We get that. Like, that's what this service is for. But we have another service called OutsourceRanking.com, and this is kind of set up for, I just need somebody to do this for me. I just need blog post links from high metric domains, high trust flow, exactly the same domains that we sell here for me. So that's OutsourceRanking.com. That's really more geared for, like, if you're an agency or if you're an affiliate, and again, that you need the links. And again, here you've got me and then a couple other guys that, kind of are really, we're in the trenches, what's not. This is really hot again for affiliates doing Facebook and YouTube pages, reputation managers, and SEO. That's who we typically work with.
Yeah, and yesterday we actually had a webinar for the masterclass members, and we talked about advanced link building. And when we got to the PBN section, there was self-hosted and or managed, self-managed PBNs, and then managed PBNs. And managed PBNs is the very first bullet point I had got outsource ranking, because that's essentially they've got the hosted PBNs that they have, and they handle the content and everything. And it really is a hands-off approach. And don't want to go the route of hosting your own domains and setting, purchasing the domain, putting it on a hosting account, installing WordPress and plugins into content, and all that sort of thing. That's where you turn to instead of managed PBN service like Outsource Ranking, of which I've used and I can vouch for it. And they do the heavy lifting. It's what I tell you guys to do all the time. Let others do the stuff that you don't want to do, and you focus on the stuff that should make you money.
And I don't know, did you talk about if they do this right? Like when you are going to use the managed PBN, and it's, I don't care if you guys are using our service or if you're using somebody else, but let's talk about doing it right. Would you, if you're using a service like this, how would you link out, Brad? And what advice would you have?
How would I link out? Is that what you're asking?
Just so people kind of have an idea.
What I would do is I would set up order my links to point to my network properties or my properties instead of directly to the money site. So I would use it to boost citations for local sites, or to boost IFTTT property content pointing back to my money site, things like that. Parasites, any type of parasite SEO, like whether it's a Facebook or a Rebel Mouse page, or YouTube videos, it's great for that as well. So I mean, that's what I would do. I wouldn't typically link directly to the money. I mean, I have. Don't get me wrong. Usually that's with my own lead gen sites where I can take more risk. When it comes to client stuff, I try to keep it real clean.
And thanks for just kind of differentiating. It's all about managing risk and what you're doing and how much you can tolerate. So like with the client site, yeah, you're going to build these as tier 2 links, and what's going to happen is just honestly, the results aren't boom overnight like they used to be 2 years ago. And what you're doing is essentially you're trading a little bit of juice and certainly cash, but you're trading it for safety. And that's what you're really trying to manage, is the safety and the risk for your clients. Now, your parasite pages, to rank for Facebook page for, I don't know, some random offer, you pretty much can go nuts on that. You don't really have a ton of risk to worry about. So guess what? That Facebook page got penalized after your 1,000th link. I guess that's too bad, but it's not like you destroyed somebody's mom and pop business, your local car. Something to understand. And
the threshold, those types of pages with high domain authority can take a ton more abuse, guys, and you guys know that because we teach you that.
Yeah. Let's see. BJ's got a question here, and I'm not sure I'm understanding it. So I'm just going to ask it out loud. Maybe you guys can help me decipher. So he says, so use these domains for buffers 1 and 2, 4, and PBNs, right? Question mark.
Yeah, it's kind of a convoluted question.
So BJ, I think it got garbled, but I'm guessing just if you want to use them as buffers, kind of like Bradley was saying, not so much buffers, but you're using these to point to things like your just talked about.
Yeah, he's talking about, I'm assuming he's talking about the outsource ranking links, right?
Probably. I think this was pretty recently. So BJ, if you got a clarification type.
Yep. Did you want to show outsource ranking the dashboard and what it looks like inside the user interface?
Yeah. Why don't you give me 1 second? I just turned off my share screen actually. Give me 1 second. Maybe I'll. But again, we've got a an offer for you guys. Typically what we do is, anybody that comes and signs up, the first $250 you spend, we come back and we match that for credit on your account. So if you spent $200 with us in links, we're going to come back and give you a $200 credit that you can use on your next order. And the really crappy people that are, out there and they just come in and sign up for a free trial and they never keep going. We're looking for clients that we can kind of keep working with, not somebody that's just looking to come in, get a quick hit of links and then never come back, that type of thing. That just creates problems for everyone.
Yeah. Cool.
But let me just show a screen share here, just a quick, how fast does, how could you create a project? How long does that take? What are you guys actually dealing with? And Let me go ahead and share that screen again. And
again, part of the webinar we had yesterday, guys, one of the questions was or the problems that, remember, I put a kind of a poll out and asked what problems, struggles people were having and how we could help to overcome. And one of them was time, not having enough time to do all the different, manage all the pieces of an SEO business. And so, there are plenty of opportunities when you got people like Jacob and his services to take some of the burden off of you, because you've got professionals that can do some of that for you. And I've told you that a million times, guys. Try to outsource a lot of the stuff. Try to do it all yourself. Just focus on what you enjoy doing and get really, really good at that, and outsource the rest of it. And you'll grow and scale your business much quicker that way.
Cool. So let's just set up a rep management project or something like that. And let's just say I had 3 properties, Facebook.com, insert your page. And let's just say we had YouTube, use HTTPS on YouTube. Oftentimes the Facebook is the S as well. Watch whatever ID. Whatever keywords you're going to go for. Let's just say it was like mold removal, or actually somebody's brand name. Let's just say company name, company brand. And with these YouTube properties, Facebooks, again, you can go pretty on the anchors we're seeing. And just right now at the time of this webinar, that's important, just so you guys understand, stuff changes all the time. That company brand, so trying to be right around 50% with that, and then doing your other, something like a youtube.com or a, watch on YouTube. And so one thing I really want to let people know is that you always hear about this click here anchor text. And after we've looked through hundreds of thousands of backlink profiles, click here is not like this giant anchor text gold mine that you'd think that it is. Like most people that link out, probably close to 70% of their link profile is either their brand name or their HTTP www.theirdomainname.com.
Yep.
The other, smaller percentages, maybe their main keywords or other kind of variations, and then like a very small percent are like those click here, read more, visit, blog. So, just when you're linking out with those, like when we see a website that's been spammed, that's what people are doing. And so don't make that mistake either, because that's just not even natural in itself. Same thing with this Facebook page. Again, you can just copy paste, set your campaign, set your desired amount of flow. You can drip it out, or you can do it kind of in a burst. Hit add to cart, pay via PayPal or credit card, and you're good to go.
And what are the links cost?
I'll tell you this right now. Our current pricing model, we've got it at $3 a link. We've been lower before, and this is what it costs to do the business. I mean, as we have all seen, cost of doing business has gone up in the last. When I started doing this 7-8 years ago, and you could just buy forum profiles for $10, call it a day. And that's all you needed for SEO. Now, as you guys know, you need more complex systems to do it. And all we're trying to do is simplify something for you. Because we've got a pretty complex back end after this that's, imagine when I first started this, I'll tell you, we had like 20 VAs that were going into these WordPress sites before, manually logging in, finding articles on Easy, spinning them, inserting like the anchor text, recording that post, submitting it to an indexer. It's just a crazy amount of work. And now we've got, there's great software that helps you scale that.
Yeah.
And so, we've been able to go to far fewer, for outsourcers. And if you guys don't have a VA too, definitely get a virtual assistant. I always have somebody that is, helping with these projects. I'm not always available 24/7. I'm in the United States, but as we know, that this business, it never stops.
Yeah.
And that means I've got somebody that's answering my emails in the middle of the night or queuing it up as this is an important, person you want to talk to. And I'm not saying like you do need to have your personal and quality touch as an agency. And I'm not saying that if you guys email me, you're getting a virtual assistant. What I'm getting at is, there's some things to like, hey, get an email. What's the name of your website? And that can be answered by a virtual assistant. And that does not command your hourly rate. And so that's something, again, important to understand. So, all you do is simply add to cart, check out, you're good to go. We do manually check out every single person that, registers for this. We're going to look at, people's websites, people's LinkedIn. If it just doesn't make sense, to use this service, talk to a couple people, and I said, I don't know if this is a good fit for what you're doing in your business. I'm happy to be 100% transparent. I'm going to tell you what works and what doesn't. And I think that's kind of the importance between, a company that knows what they're doing and a company that's just kind of taking your money.
So I have a question for you then also. Yeah. Would you say that outsource ranking is geared more to local SEO work, or can it also be used for like affiliate products or CPA offer, that sort of thing?
I'll tell you, we've got completely separate, let's call it network for handling that type of stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, you're going to see a couple of some affiliate things run through this, but we'll take that stuff and pull it and put it on another network just to kind of keep the integrity of this one that we've got going on here.
Do you want to mention the other network?
The service too. This one is called seslingshot.com. That's like SE as in search engine, slingshot.com. That service has been chugging along for years. And we just keep doing it.
Yep.
We do it right, I think, and that's the difference. Not saying that we're not perfect, just being 100% honest and transparent. And that's what I think is important is, yeah, we're going to have de-indexes from time to time, but any network and any type of company that's doing this, that's part of the risk that you assume when you're doing it.
Yeah.
And just want to be 100% transparent so nobody has any false expectations of this thing is going to be alive forever build. And this is why, again, we've got a service like Index Bears. We keep enough domains on hand that we can just essentially come and repopulate this thing. Really.
Cool.
And it's just done strategically. So you guys are kind of like getting the benefit of all the hard work in Index Bear that we need to do to deliver this outsourced ranking service. And then we're just we got this overflow. We always just have that inventory, and we're letting other people kind of tap into that and kind of leverage some of the stuff that we've done.
Very cool. Well, Adam, do we have any questions?
Yeah, we got another one from Gary that I think is really good, and I know part of what Bradley's answer to this would be, but asking Jacob, do you have any tips for keeping a PBN domain strong in the future? So let's say you go out and buy one, what do you do to keep it as strong as you can for as long as you can?
What we're doing here, like truly, we're linking out on a blog post, just for a link. You guys know what's going on there. There's no hiding that. If you're going to build like a high quality PBN, what does that look like? And just imagine somebody's real, actual website. I've been doing this for a long time, and I can tell you I've got domains that I've set up, years ago. I'll even come in, I'll scrape domains from archives. It's just, how much abuse are you putting through it? I found one domain that I actually bought at auction a couple of years ago and used it as the guy worked on the website for 10 years and then sold, didn't renew the domain. I went and got his content from the way back, put it up, and boom, I had 10 years of content.
Wow.
And there's no arguing that. And what actually happened in the archive, the site was actually still alive, but the domain was open for renewal, and he didn't renew, so I scraped his live site actually, and then waited it back up. And to this day, I still think that this guy is probably earning AdSense revenue. I didn't change anything, I didn't put my AdSense code on there. I didn't do anything ridiculous and weird. So he's probably still getting clicks from the website and earning money, and
Let that be a lesson to everybody. Don't ignore those emails. That's also why you want to use an email address you have.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's cool. And so, but yeah, to answer his question, guys, I've been preaching that to you. If you're going to be building PBNs and you're trying to keep them alive, and if you're going to be linking directly to your money sites, then I recommend that you try to make the sites look as real as possible. Not like, guys, we can spot a PBN from a mile away. With your eyes closed, you can spot them if you know what you're looking for, right? And typically that's the problem. That's why I mentioned you guys, and I just talked about this yesterday in masterclass with you guys about how you should always make sure that your PBNs that you're linking directly to your money site are highly themed and that they look like real bona fide websites, not just blog network sites. And so that's going to help keep them alive. And also attracting additional inbound links and social signals traffic, that's a big key indicator now too, guys, to keep the PBN links powered up, in other words. And that's something that we talked about too.
Yep. I'll tell you, and it's about, does this website provide value? And I don't know if you guys know this, but they're a little, Google's got their little Leap Force team, going out and checking this stuff, and what were they actually looking for? They're actually looking more, does this website have navigation? Does this website add value? Does this appear to be a business or a real blogger? That type of stuff. I'm just going to kind of throw a little hint out there, but oftentimes there are a lot of domains that for their Tumblrs or their blog spots, and they redirect them to another domain, and some of that stuff is the best content that you can find out there too.
Yeah. Very cool. So, Jacob, did you want to make it? I mean, I know you talked about matching for outsource ranking. Is there anything else, something like that, or?
So let's do two things. So, if you guys come into Index Bear and you guys mention that you're with Brad here on Semantic member. If you buy, we're going to make it really easy. If you buy one domain, we're just going to double that for you. Nice. Get in there and try. If you buy 5, we'll give you another one for free still. In outsource ranking, we said the 250 match up to that. We'll do a match up to 500 for anybody on that.
Wow, very cool, man.
Do something a little sweeter for you guys, and it's just because I know Brad, and I know he's just a trusted guy, and what he is doing, and I guess what I'm getting at is I know that when you guys come use our stuff because of what Brad has taught you guys, it's going to work for you guys. And because there's so many people that are just telling you a strategy and it doesn't work. And so no matter what you do off page, you're just never going to get it to work because you don't have the right system in place, either on page or in your tier 1 structure.
Thank you for that, because you're absolutely right, and that's the issue, guys. That's why we hammer away the way we do on the tier 1 structures and how we develop those networks and everything. And then I tell you guys all the time, we need additional work. We need, the TTG networks are not magic bullets, and you're going to need additional supplemental links, and that's where services like this come in. On awesome offer, Jacob. Thank you. Come up on it. I can vouch for it. It's a good service. Jacob knows what he's doing, as you can tell from today. So, any other questions, Adam? We'll take them. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up.
I think we're looking good. We got everything out of the way.
Very cool. You're still sharing your screen, Jacob. If you want to.
Let's come back to the website, www.outsourceranking.com and www.indexbear.com.
And by the way, just for clarification, I'm going to probably send this replay out to our list. Is there a time limit on how soon people can redeem that offer, like a week or something? I'm sure it's not an everlasting offer, right?
Yeah, let's just keep it to the end of the month. I know that everybody's got projects that they're working on and everybody gets busy, but I still want people to take action. And
sure. As a matter of fact, I'll have some stuff from you too now. So, awesome. Jacob, thank you so much for your time. Adam, thanks for helping out, and we'll see you on.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for showing up.